Now, if one looks at the size, the location, or even the culture and history of Japan and Estonia, one can simply claim that the two countries are totally different. And in many ways, this is true. However, you can also convincingly make the argument that in today's globalized and interconnected, technologically advanced world, traditional state attributes such as size, physical location, borders, and so forth might not matter as much when it comes to national security, and even more so when it comes to cybersecurity.
Overviewing cyber attack trend in the last decade revealed that the cyber attacks frequently follow incident of international discord or conflict. A risk of state-sponsored cyber attacks with the intent to steal classified information, disrupt critical infrastructure, and obstruct military system become more serious. As a new phenomena in the recent trend of cyber attacks, manipulative cyber attacks, so-called information warfare, aimed at information manipulation within other states are taking place. These cyber manipulation attacks, such as distributing fake news, sowing confusion through cyber attack with proxies, and releasing stolen confidential information, have a significant impact on our democratic process. The cyber domain become a real battleground of economic security between China and developed Western countries, including Japan. Up to now, national response to cyber attacks has focused on passive cyber defense, such as securing cybersecurity and protection of critical infrastructure. These measures of passive defense are now insufficient. In order to stop potential state adversary conducting cyber attack on our national interest, democratic allies have to employ a new strategy that is based on comprehensive cyber deterrence. That consists of both enhancing cyber deterrence by denial, by improving cyber robustness and resilience of the country, and also enhancing cyber deterrence by punishment using a variety of policy tools, including from some kind of declaration of the collective defense to cyber counter attacks against the cyber attackers.
A definite strength has been Estonia's agility and flexibility, which builds on short command and communication chains and a very well integrated community, both on the government level and with the private sector. So, and there is also this broad cultural phenomenon supporting Estonia's cybersecurity posture. Estonians generally have a high trust in both public institutions and in digital technology. And of course, that also spills over or supports the national cybersecurity efforts. And then, of course, there is also the fairly high societal awareness of the importance of cybersecurity, although practical skills and commitment are often a bit of another matter. There is rather weak coherence in strategic cybersecurity management and coordination, with a decentralized model where stakeholders retain their independence and the coordinator is just a primus inter pares. Consistent priorities and approaches and resources across sectors remain an ever-present struggle. And division of roles, which can look rather straightforward on paper, is often difficult to factor in when organizations overlapping mandates and the interplay between various agencies' cyber-specific and general roles come into play. So that means unclear expectations in crisis, which need to be then resolved ad hoc, and where you of course need the agile and flexible and integrated community approach.
Information sharing is a key to properly protect ourselves against a cyber threat. Yet a difficulty here is many private entities tend to be concerned about their reputation risk when they share their information on cyber threat, especially to wider sectors or stakeholders. To incentivize them to share information, a new information sharing platform was established in 2019 called the Cybersecurity Council. The Council is composed by the government agencies, critical infrastructures, and cyber-related entities. Totally, today, 224 organizations are joining this framework. The uniqueness of this framework is a law which imposes an obligation of confidentiality to the members of the Council to encourage them to provide information, including not only the cyber attack itself, but also symptoms of cyber attacks and/or nearly missed one, which were not originally reported or shared necessarily. This undertaking is a relatively new one and still growing. I emphasize the importance of the public-private partnership and, of course, a further international cooperation among like-minded countries to realize free, open, and secure cyberspace.
When talking about developing norms, I think Estonia and Japan have a lot in common. Both countries are active in organizations on a regional level and international level. We share the main concepts, such as both countries believe that international law applies to cyberspace. Both countries believe that instead of pushing towards new norms, we should first focus on implementing the already agreed norms and instruments. Both Japan and Estonia are taking part in the UNGG and open-ended working group negotiations, and also sharing multiple other venues for cooperation on a multi-stakeholder level, including private sector cooperation and domestic level cooperation. And also worth mentioning when we talk about promoting norms is the cooperation between academia and the 1.5 track diplomatic dialogues. Now, one major contribution that Estonia has been made in the topic of promoting norms is putting cyber in the agenda of the United Nations Security Council. Estonia held its signature event as a side event, and a majority of countries in the world participated in this event, underlining different challenges and objectives for cybersecurity. And I think noteworthy is that the event was opened by Ms. Izumi Nakamitsu, who is the UN High Representative for Disarmament, who underlined the relevance of cooperation, inclusive partnerships, common understandings, and collective capacity building.
Needless to say, the internet was a single global network, and there was a practical benefit to help each other, because if a major or massive one attack affect the network of, for example, Malaysia, that will affect the productivity of Japanese internet users. From my perspective, the most important strategic goal of Japan's capacity building program is to secure the Japanese products. The major car navigation systems in Japanese car have been developed in Thailand and India and other Asian countries. You may like Japanese digital camera. Those cameras, some of its software and hardware are also developed in, for example, country like Philippines. So Japan needs to protect its very long supply chain.